A major escalation is unfolding on multiple fronts of the Ukraine war. As diplomacy quietly returns to the table, Russia is answering with force, missiles, drones, and fresh territorial gains. From hypersonic strikes deep inside Ukraine to air defenses activating around Moscow, the battlefield continues to heat up. Russia says its troops have captured 2 more settlements, marking another shift on the battlefield. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, forces have taken control of Prylyapka in the Kharkiv region and Andreevka in the Dnepropetrovsk region. Moscow claims the advances came after coordinated ground assaults supported by artillery and drone units. Russian Defense Ministry released footage showing Russian formations in action, including Malva self-propelled artillery systems, engineer units clearing routes forward, TOS-1A Solntsepyak thermobaric launchers, and drone operators striking Ukrainian positions. Russia's defense minister Andrei Belousov formally congratulated the 36th Guards Losovaya Red Banner Motor Rifle Brigade for what Moscow describes as the successful liberation of Andreevka. Belousov praised the command and personnel for what he called discipline, coordination, and battlefield effectiveness, signaling the political importance Moscow is attaching to these gains as the war grinds on. Russia also launched one of its most intense strikes in weeks. The Defense Ministry says it carried out a massive, coordinated attack using long-range ground and air-launched precision weapons, including Kinzhal hypersonic missiles and long-range drones. Targets reportedly included Ukrainian defense industry facilities and energy infrastructure used to support military production. Moscow insists the operation achieved all its objectives, with every assigned target hit. The strikes came as Russia also faced pressure closer to home. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin confirmed that 2 drones heading towards the capital were shot down by air defense systems early Tuesday. Emergency services were dispatched to the sites where debris fell. While no casualties were reported, the incidents underline growing vulnerabilities and rising tensions as the conflict increasingly spills beyond the front lines. Against this backdrop, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says diplomatic efforts are still alive. He confirmed that Ukraine's negotiating team has returned from talks with U.S. officials, claiming they managed to strengthen key points in a draft peace proposal. Zelensky stressed Kyiv would continue working with Washington, saying Ukraine has never been an obstacle to peace, even as fighting intensifies. U.S. President Donald Trump has been pressing for an end to the war for months, though negotiations remain tangled by sharply different demands from Moscow and Kyiv. His envoy, Steve Witkoff, described recent talks with Ukrainian and European officials as productive, while Trump himself offered a more measured assessment. The talks are going along.
The report from our negotiating team today was very detailed. Rustem Umerov and Andriy Ignatov have returned from their meeting in the United States with representatives of President Trump. They reported on the working drafts of agreements that are already in place and on the specific points within these agreements that we have successfully managed to strengthen. We continue to maintain constant contact with America, and we are looking forward to further productive work together.
We feel that America is looking to achieve a final agreement, and from our side, we are offering full cooperation.
Ukraine has never been and will never become an obstacle to peace. We're working actively and doing absolutely everything we can to ensure that the necessary documents are not only prepared, but also truly realistic. The most important thing is that Russia does not disrupt this crucial diplomacy and approaches the conclusion of the war with 100% seriousness.
I am confident that we will achieve this objective as well. They are supporting Russia in the war against us, against the Ukraine, those who are providing assistance to the aggressor. There is a process underway, a diplomatic one.
Our group is currently making its way back from Miami. They're expected to arrive sometime tonight, and I'll have all the specific details for you in the morning. In my opinion, everything possible that we were supposed to do for the initial drafts, it's already here. There are 20 points in the plan. Probably everything not everything is perfect, but this plan exists. There are security guarantees between us, the European countries, and the United States of America as a framework document. There is a separate document between us and the United States of America, bilateral security guarantees.
These are what we see, and they must be considered in the Congress of the United States, Indonesia, banks and energy companies. This deprives Putin of hundreds of billions of dollars that he uses.
I have seen once again the initial progress and early work, almost 90%, to be honest, of those very applications that are truly crucial for us, what our army and Ukraine can genuinely count on. And after the signing of such guarantees, how incredibly strong we can become. And today, all of this looks quite impressive and dignified. But these are, for now, the developments and achievements of our military. It's good, it's not just from our side. Why? Because when these developments are only from our side, you know, we want a lot, and then it's not certain it will all happen. But it's important that these are joint efforts, ours and the US. This means we're very close to a real result. And also the first draft of a treaty on the recovery of Ukraine. This is an economic strategy. Our nation, our people, concerning our defense and the heroism of all Ukrainians, both men and women. Such a country, it simply doesn't exist right now. The basic, the fundamental core, the very basic block of all the necessary documents, in my honest opinion, it is completely ready, the foundational part. There are certain things that we are probably not fully prepared for. And there are things, I'm sure, that the Russians are not ready for. The Americans have stayed for negotiations with this side, with Russia's representatives. They will talk and then we'll get their feedback. They've received all the information from us. We united Europe around, what's the bad story here? The bad story is when, for example, the Germans and Americans, they really wanted to arrange a Christmas truce or a Christmas ceasefire. Not that it's the end of the war, but it's always a signal that the parties want to find something, some diplomatic and a diplomatic way forward. I consider it a very bad signal, and there's nothing new in the fact that the Russians immediately came out and said, no, we don't want anything of the sort. No, the question isn't that they don't want this. That's perfectly clear to us. The problematic issue is that when Russia says there will be no Christmas truce, I believe that what they say always emphasizes such intimidation. Well, it's in their nature to act this way for Christmas, because, you know, it's precisely on our Christmas to conduct some kind of massive large-scale strike. And that's why I'd like to add, well, today we had a meeting to discuss this. And the number one issue was air defense, the protection of our cities, villages, and our communities, especially on the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. We really need to pay close attention to this, and the military personnel themselves must pay attention and protect as much as they possibly can. It's all very difficult because there is an air defense deficit, unfortunately, and people need to pay very close attention these days, because these comrades are capable of launching their corresponding strikes. They hold nothing sacred.